Good morning, everyone. Let me sit and get a little comfier. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels, and we're going to that horrible world known as the JRC. But before we do, the usual rant, like I always do on the first video of the front loading, and then the disclaimers. Alright, what's this morning's rant about? It's just circling back a little bit. It's something I've mentioned before, but once again was brought to the forefront of my mind because, well, let me tell you what happened. So as usual, I was surfing Twitter during the morning before I got on the shift. And as per usual, because I can't seem to get away from it no matter what I do, send help, there were more people commenting on the soap opera that's basically become Britain's royal family. And for no adequately explained reason, somehow Greta Thunberg got dragged into it. What do I mean by that? Well, somebody listed a commentary about how Meghan looks evil like this and put up a picture of Greta Thunberg. Oh, but the ableism doesn't end there. That was subtle. The person that came afterwards was not so subtle. Said something along the lines of, well, what do you expect? I mean, she's autistic and has fetal alcohol syndrome. First of all, no, she doesn't, Karen. Second of all, she has nothing to fucking do with anything that has to do with the royal family. What crack are you on, and why are you dragging her into this shit? Number 3, once again, as per usual, her diagnosis is being used as a way and a means to vilify her. Now, why would that affect me? I'm not Greta Thunberg, obviously, right? Or why would it affect the rest of us? Now, that's very simple, folks. Vilify one because of a diagnosis. You also, maybe not even willfully or knowingly, are vilifying every single last one of us who also carry that very same diagnosis. You are vilifying people you don't even know, who you have no connection to. You've never met us, and yet you're calling us basically all evil because you hate one fucking woman. And you're willing to drag one of us who has nothing to do with any of this drama whatsoever into it because your ass has an agenda. Sit the fuck down. Sit down. Because we're tired, folks. We're tired of being dragged into things that has nothing to do with us. We're tired of being used as examples of the boogeyman. We're tired of being told that we don't feel, we don't have connections to others, we don't have feelings. All of it's a lie. All of it's a lie, but you also willfully, one must think even gleefully, use us to compare with whoever it is you're hating on this week. And then immediately after throwing in our diagnosis, making completely unfactual, biased comparisons, and just assuming we're all evil. Yeah. I've had enough. It's enough. You don't have to like Greta. You don't have to believe in anything that she says, even if what she is saying is true. But let me clear up a few things about Miss Greta that you assholes can't seem to wrap your brain around. We're not fucking toddlers. And when it comes to our areas of hyper-focus, nobody can touch us. Not a damn soul. My areas of hyper-focus are history, ancient religion and myth, and of course, this stuff as well. Paul is schizotypal, has genius level IQ. He can't touch me there. See what I'm saying? He doesn't even come near. Not even remotely close. what we do in our areas of hyper-focus, we very easily and quickly can become the top individuals that are consulted on in regards to that particular subject. Greta Thunberg's hyper-focus was applied towards global warming. Now you can sit there and say, but she dropped out of school and all that. School is a fucking hellscape for autistics, okay? If you want to know why we sound so educated, so well-spoken, those few of us who do this sort of work, it's not because of the fucking public schools. They've been going downhill since the goddamn 90s, okay? The kids coming out of school these days don't even know how to think for themselves. They have no critical thinking ability and have been basically trained to regurgitate things by rote and just go along with whatever the media is showing this week. Fucking spare me, alright? Spare me. Whether she stayed in school or not, it does not change the fact that this is her area of hyper-focus. She knows it backwards, forwards, and sideways. She's done the research. We are fucking researchers at heart. Pretty much all of us. Yes, that includes the fucking nonverbals, you fucking assholes. Okay? We know our subjects. An autistic, being the honest individuals that we are, we're not known to just go and blow something out of proportions for kicks and grins. We're not you. If we are sounding the alarm on something, there is a damn good reason why we feel compelled to do so. You can sit there and lie to yourself and say climate change is a hoax all you want to, but Karen, the polar caps are fucking melting. That is a fact, whether you like it or not. You can go look it up, okay? The only idiots who believe it's a hoax are certain individual so-called experts getting highly paid by the individuals who would benefit from people believing that it's all a hoax. Okay? Conflict of interest. That being said, you don't have to agree with her. She's right, but you don't have to agree with her. You don't have to like her. You don't have to like how she presents things. But you do have to fucking respect her as a goddamn human being. You do not have the right to slander, vilify, and influence this woman because she has a diagnosis. You do not have the right in the process to vilify all the fucking rest of us. And for the love of God, quit dragging us into shit that has nothing to do with us. Because I've been having enough since the 90s. It's tired, it's old, and I'm done. Okay? Do not drag us into this royal drama. Do not fucking drag us into your new vilification because you don't like somebody. It's enough, all right? It's enough. I'm going to check on my cat real quick. I don't have an edit button, and I'm not redoing this video, so just hold on, all right? Mr. Meow Meow, are you okay? Are you alright? Are you alright? You okay? Come on, Mr. Come on. Come on, baby. Come on. Come on. This is my baby. He's a good kid. Right. Alright, folks. Now to the disclaimers. In the description box, you're going to find a link to the article that the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read. It is written by NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics, wherein they interviewed and surveyed over 900 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's quote-unquote behavioral modification program. Matter of fact, the JRC doesn't want you reading this article so much, they have threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they do not remove it from the website. NeuroClastic has refused. So folks, you know the drill. Please read that article and don't forget to share on all your social media. We also got the pertinent links to... I got ahead of myself. We also have linked in there NeuroClastic's public statement in regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding, folks, in case the JRC actually has the balls to see through with their threat. We also have linked in there... Sorry, I can't brain. That's my level of pissed with the planet that I am this morning. This is why I feel like I came out of the womb just going... Alright. We also have the link in there in regards to the Agape boarding school / now Stone for Help situation based out of Stockton, Missouri. Agape boarding school / now Stone for Help is a supposedly Christian-themed boarding school based out of Stockton, Missouri that takes in so-called troubled male teens that has impending over 21 civil lawsuits and claims allegations leveled against it. These have been substantiated by means of ER records and medical documents, as well as other hard evidence gathered by the Missouri Department of Social Services, and they include the following: sodomy, rape, sexual assault, child abuse, psychological and emotional abuse, child trafficking, starvation, and that's just for starters. You have one former staff member arrested by the FBI, and then you've also got a doctor who's still on the premises up on multiple charges, all substantiated again by the Missouri Department of Social Services of rape, sodomy, and sexual assault of the boys there. You have an attorney general who's still 2 fucking weeks into the job and still has said nothing on Agape or Stone for Help. Nothing, zilch, fucking nada. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And you've got a governor who's too busy touting talking points and chasing after drag queens to actually do his job and protect the actual kids, instead of defending kids from his imaginary boogeyman he's made them out to be because he's a homophobic asshole. So please read that article by Ozarks First that I posted up there in the description box last week, okay? Share it on all your social media. We also have the other pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign as well, including Autistic Hoya's massive archive on the subject, Jennifer Masumba's behavioral sheet on shockable offenses, a clip out of the 7-hour ordeal undergone by Andre McCollins back in 2002, the templates, and the ever-present self-explanatory change.org Shut the Judge Rotenberg Center Down petition. When we discuss the JRC, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of peoples with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please go ahead and use your headphones, all right? This channel is marked not for children for a reason. We use profanity and speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger, parental supervision is very highly advised. Trigger warning, we are about to once again descend into the mad ravings of the lunatic mind known as Dr. Matthew Israel. You're going to hear victim blaming, gaslighting, lies, pseudoscience, enough ableism, bigotry, and arrogance to circle the globe a few thousand times. That man is so arrogant, I think his ego should prevent him from entering any doorway. Just saying. So, just be prepared for the stupid, alright? Let me get a good draw of this, because here it comes. Here comes the fucking stupid. Okay, this is where we left off last week. Aversive therapy is not utilized with any individual at JRC for the purpose of intimidating or coercing him or a third person or any reason based on discrimination of any kind. Bullshit, doctor. Bullshit. Tell me, doctor, why is the highest percentage of people put on your device people of color? If you don't believe me, folks, please go to that description box where we have the links to Autistic Hoya's massive archive. You're going to find a chart in there which shows you the numbers on that. I carry my receipts, doctor. Do you? Tell me why it is in your actual records that you prey predominantly on poor communities, mostly populated by people of color. 75% of the JRC's student body is Black and Latino. It is what it is, folks. That is a lie. And once again, a provable one. Their own rosters, no less. Let's talk about other forms of discrimination. Tell me, doctor, have you ever come across a troubled neurotypical teenager? Because I've come across several in my life. Tell me, if it's a regular neurotypical teenager, no diagnosis, but they're acting extremely troubled. They're getting the fights in school. They act aggressive on the grounds. They have a little gang about them. They're caught drinking and doing things on school grounds. Tell me, are you going to grab that neurotypical teenager, insist that his parents must send him to your school because your way is the only way? Will you strap him up to that device, place him on a 4-point board, and shock him over 31 times? Because the answer is, folks, no. He won't. Okay? No matter how troubled, out of control, or aggressive that neurotypical teenager is, nobody's going to do jack shit to him. That's a fact. However, take that same neurotypical teenager and slap on the label autism. Slap on the label of ADHD. Slap on the label of, well, any mental health issue. Then have the same thing happen. And then you're going to sit there and try and tell me with your full chest that there's no discrimination of any kind going on? Fucking spare me, doctor. Please spare me. Because if you were as altruistic and good-meaning as humanly possible, that means whether they are troubled because of a diagnosis or they're troubled because they're troubled, you'd use the same methods and try to convince those parents to send the kid to your hellhole too. But you don't. You target us. You do it because we are soft targets that society has proven over the last over a decade doesn't give two shits what happens to us. You can torture us, see? You can torture us by shock, starve us, traumatize us, beat us, hell, even rape us. Nobody gives a shit. We've been sounding the alarm for years. We got one moment back in 2012. We haven't heard a peep fucking since. Okay? Nothing. You see where I'm going with this, right? We were the soft targets. We're the targets that it seems, by and large, the majority of society doesn't think about. They like to push us behind closed doors and forget that we exist. And when we refuse and insist on being out in community and showing that we exist, well, that's when the shit starts. The only reason why it stopped for me was I was good enough at acting to be able to make them comfortable around me by basically faking everything. The few things I didn't fake, I still had to act out, which is beyond exhausting. Okay? It is, in actuality, very much discrimination. It's discrimination that has built your school, doctor. Discrimination ableism, and racism. I'm not blind. I have eyeballs and I've seen the fucking paperwork. That is exactly what you're engaging in. Okay? Because again, you take Andre McCollins refusing to remove his coat. Had Andre not had a disability and been a neurotypical, let's just say it, a white fucking neurotypical who was simply troubled, do you think any of that would have happened to him? That's my point. But let's get into more of this paragraph here. I just wanted to make out the point that he is actually very much discriminating against us. He is using the fact that we are disabled to give himself ready-made fucking living guinea pigs. This is a man who doesn't see us as human beings. He sees us as specimens, people on whom he can torture into his ideal human and then piggyback his idea of utopia off of our backs. And he's raking in millions of dollars every year to do so. By the way, if you think he's still not getting rewards in spite of no longer being ahead of the JRC, I got a river in Egypt I could sell you. But again, let's go in here. The fact that aversive therapy is applied to persons with behavioral problems is no more discriminatory than the fact that radical surgery and chemotherapy are applied to persons with cancer, or that the arm cast is used only with persons who have broken their arms. None of these things are related, doctor. This idiot continues to compare himself with doctors that deal with physical ailments. Okay? This is not apples and oranges. This is an apple and a fucking semi-truck. Okay? These things are not related. They are not the same thing. Let's start with radical surgery. So we're talking about when an individual comes out from being maybe in a horrific car wreck, got horribly messed up, and they have to go into surgery immediately to repair it, lest they die on the table. You know what they do before those surgeries, doctor, right? They will first see to the comfort of the patient. That means whatever they can do at the time to ease the pain and suffering of the individual who is about to be prepped for surgery, it gets done. Whether it's putting them to sleep, whether it's putting them on high pain medications for the surgery they're about to go under, there are fail-safes in place to make it as least intrusive as humanly possible. You do not do that with any of the students you have put on that device. Do not fucking sell me bullshit and tell me it's roses. Okay? These things are not related. Now let's talk about chemotherapy. Since you're so willing, doctor, I'd like to bring up the point again. Chemotherapy is in particular a treatment for those who have cancer. It does indeed cause discomfort. These individuals are also given pain medication, doctor. Pain medication. They're also thoroughly prepped before they go in for chemotherapy treatments. These things are not the same. Again, your device is designed to cause harm. It is actual intention is to cause harm. Chemotherapy was not designed to cause harm, doctor. That's why it's medicine and what you do is torture. Okay? Also, again, apples in a fucking semi-truck. We're not talking apples and oranges. We're talking apple in a fucking semi-truck. These things are not the same. Chemotherapy will never be used in any means, way, shape, or form to cure people with disabilities, all right? But with your logic, doctor, what you would have to believe us to believe is that, to use an analogy, you believe that torture should be used on any and all disabilities and it makes us 100% better. That would be to apply it to physical medication and science. That'd be essentially saying since chemotherapy works for people with cancer, we should also go ahead and use it to cure the common cold. That's the little level of idiocy that whole entire thesis that he keeps trying to ram down our throats is. It's literally that stupid. Literally that stupid. An arm cast. Doctor, are you on fucking crack? How in the name of God can you compare an arm cast with what you get up to? An arm cast is not designed to cause any way, shape, or form any discomfort or pain to the person who wears it. Okay? It is there to mend the bones. Apple's semi-truck. Okay? It's not even remotely close to being the same thing. A cast is there to help mend the bone and make sure it goes back into place correctly. Your device, again, is used to cause discomfort and pain to the individuals that you place it on. They are not the same things. These comparisons are idiotic. And how the fuck you actually sat down at a desk and told yourself that this sounded good, this would convince you in? There must have been some damn good drugs. I'm saying, but let's finish this paragraph here, shall we? Treatment is always applied only to those who have medical or behavioral conditions require such treatment in order to achieve a cure or an ameliation of the condition. Lie in cure culture. All in one. Doctor. Idiots out there who believe anything otherwise, there is no cure. There will never be a cure. It is genetic. Please get over your stupid shit. There is no amount of behavioral therapy, no amount of torture, no amount of masking and pretending that is ever going to change the fact that I am disabled and I have autism, that I'm autistic. Nothing's ever going to change that. Putting a fucking torture device on me to force me to act and to mask how you want me to is fucking insane. It's insane that you people insist that we must sound, act, dress, walk, talk, be like, emote, and do everything like you. It is the height of egotism, okay? Your way is not the only fucking way. Autistics have our own way of being, and you know what? It is every bit as valid as yours. Just because you don't understand it, guess what, Karen? That's not my fucking problem. It's yours, isn't it? You all never want to meet us halfway. You don't want to try to find out how we communicate. You don't want to try to see how we relate to the world around us, how we express love and gratefulness and our emotions. No, you want to force us to be like you. And you do not give a shit about the psychological damage and trauma and years of therapy we're going to have to be in afterwards because you insist that we must become someone we're never going to be. Okay? I'm so tired of it. So tired. But they're better and they're acting happy. It's a mask. It's a mask. Okay? It's a mask. That is not the real me I'm seeing when I put that mask on. That is the persona. That is the character I created just for you fucking people. So I can be left the fuck alone or in certain arenas be taken seriously. Okay? It is beyond bullshit that I still feel the need pushing 40 in 2023 to still have to do so. Okay? Don't even get me into your so-called inclusion because it's a fucking joke. Don't get me started. No one deserves such treatment, doctor. This is not treatment. It is torture. You are discriminating against us because you think you can get away with it. And unfortunately, with our society, he has. This fucker belongs behind bars. This bastard should not be around actual society. He shouldn't even have charges so much as a fucking snail. But he was allowed to plead out and keep his ass out of jail where he belongs. Okay? You tortured those kids. Your little acolytes are still torturing them, and they're still toting your party line, which is so easy to tear apart. I don't even have to try. I don't even have to fucking research this shit, folks. This is straight off the top of my head, these videos. Straight out of the top of my head. It's a lie. Torture is not the only answer. Parents, fucking hear me. ABA or Dr. Matthew Israel are not your only two fucking options. Your kid in jail or on the street, dead or in an institution. These are not the only fucking answers other than his hellhole. And by the way, if you don't believe his school is an institution because he has like bad acid trip from hell decoration on the inside of it, I don't know what to tell you, but no amount of decoration is going to change what that place is at heart. It's an institution, no fucking different from the same that they literally base horror movies off of. Okay? Okay? He does it because he enjoys it. He does it because he has a never-ending stream of ready-made victims that he can do whatever the hell he wants to with us with impunity. He did it because he knew he could get away with it. And he's fucking trying to gaslight you into not believing us by trying to put this all as something we're imagining in our heads. Even if the majority of folks that have come out on media haven't been us. It's been neurotypical lawyers, neurotypical doctors, psychologists, psychiatrists, social workers, ABA professionals, parents. It hasn't just been us. Everyone who lives in the reality of the real medical world these days knows that there is no cure. Okay? Please stop. Please come back to reality. Please come back to reality. Because when we come back to reality, that's when the real work can begin. When we realize that we know nothing. When we realize there's thousands of plans out there. When we do a real fucking functional assessment. That's where the real work can begin. And I might mention also, once again, that we have places like Autism Speaks and all these multi-million-dollar non-for-profits to take in billions every year. Yet there are still not resources in these communities that places like the Judge Rotenberg Center prey upon for these kids to even see, let alone be able to utilize any of these other treatment programs far better fucking suited to their situation. Billions of dollars. Why is it not being used to give these parents in these communities the resources that they need so that their kids can be treated like a fucking human being? All right, I'm going to close on that, folks, but let's kind of go through this here. Once again, he's gaslighting us. And yes, he did trigger me. I'm sure that's intention because he likes to trigger us. He thinks he makes us look unhinged so no one will listen to us. I got your unhinged, doctor. I got your unhinged. And guess what? People have been listening to me for over a decade. Please do get over it. He's once again trying to make false equivalencies Very, very bad ones, I might add. The kind of things that just make you look at an individual and wonder, how can they function with that level of stupid? Like how do they even survive to live to adulthood? How do they function? That kind of level of stupid in these analogies here, okay? They don't work. You're literally comparing an apple to a semi-truck going down the highway. That's how nonsensical this is. And then once again, he's going to try and cram cure culture down everyone's throat, feeding parents a false narrative, a fucking pipe dream. The same shit that the snake oils men get up to from all over the world, selling the brand new cure for autism. Yeah. Only instead of peddling snake oil, Dr. Matthew Israel and his acolytes are peddling torture. Yeah. And we're going to go ahead and close out on that for this morning. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few that we do tend to get removed from time to time. So, folks, please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time this morning. And as always, we here at Spilling Tea do hope you have a good one. Bye-bye, everyone.